The woman had just given birth when she discovered that her two sons would cry non-stop whenever they saw her, but the moment they saw her husband's mother, they would immediately calm down. Faced with this strange situation, the woman only gave a mysterious, sly smile. It turned out that the woman had been reborn. In her previous life, her husband died in a car crash on the day she gave birth. She had no choice but to raise the two children alone, until the day they got into college and she hosted a graduation banquet. Her husband, dead for 20 years, unexpectedly showed up with his mistress. They appeared together at the event. In front of everyone, he announced that the mistress was actually the birth mother of the two children. Only then did the woman realize that the children she had raised with so much effort were actually the illegitimate children of her husband and his mistress. What's even more hateful is that the two children secretly transferred all her assets. In the end, the woman became seriously ill out of anger and passed away from this world. But when she woke up again, she had returned to the day she gave birth, 20 years earlier. Before she could recover from the shock, her husband's father came to tell her that his son had been in a car accident. Before the woman could speak, her husband's mother pushed the two babies over to her. The woman then took her mother-in-law's hand and said she would definitely raise the children well. She would also take care of both elders until their final days. The couple saw that their plan had worked, and both showed smug expressions. But what they didn't know was that the woman had been reborn and already knew all about their scheme. She swore to make their whole family pay the price. In the blink of an eye, 20 years passed. Under the woman's upbringing, both sons were accepted into universities overseas. The woman quickly shared the news with her husband's parents and invited them to the graduation banquet. Soon, she arrived at the venue with her two sons. The elders were pleased to see how well-behaved their grandsons had become. Thinking their grandsons would soon study abroad, they felt it would be a waste for the woman to live alone in her big house, so they planned to move in with her. But the woman had already expected this, so she presented a sales contract showing that she had already sold the house. Her in-laws were furious and questioned her angrily about why she sold the house without consulting them. The woman quickly explained that she did all this for the sake of her sons. After all, studying abroad requires a lot of money. But her husband's mother, after hearing this, still demanded the remaining money. But the woman had already transferred the money into her sons' names. She said that the money was part of their education fund and couldn't be withdrawn. The two elders thought, since the money was for their grandsons anyway, they had nothing more to say. Soon, the graduation banquet began. With the host's prompt, the woman was about to go on stage with her sons to give a speech. But unexpectedly, her husband, who had been missing for 20 years, showed up with his mistress. Everyone was shocked at the sight. They were confused. How could someone who had been dead for 20 years still be alive? And the man's parents dropped the act as soon as they saw him, openly expressing their joy. The man also brazenly flaunted to the woman that he was alive. The two sons panicked when they saw this scene and asked the woman what was going on. But the man, holding the mistress, said that she was the children's real mother. The children didn't believe it and turned to their grandmother for the truth. It turned out they once thought the woman couldn't give birth, so they came up with this whole plan. They even slandered her, saying all her care for the children was fake. The man took the opportunity to announce to everyone that he had worked hard for 20 years and had finally become a department manager in the company. He had returned to reclaim his sons. The woman admitted that everything the man said was true. Seeing this, the man immediately said he wanted a divorce so he could marry his mistress. To his surprise, the woman agreed right away. His parents, seeing this, thought she had been scared senseless by the situation. Amidst the crowd's murmurs, the man brought the divorce papers to the woman and asked her to sign. Ignoring her son's desperate pleas from the audience, she signed her name right away. Seeing their plan succeed, the man and mistress smiled smugly. Unexpectedly, the woman started acting like she had gone mad and insisted on holding a public wedding for the two of them. She even wished their whole family happiness and gave her wedding ring to the mistress. Seeing how understanding she was, the man asked her for the children's school living expenses. To his surprise, the woman agreed without hesitation. Seeing how easy she was to manipulate, the mistress also asked for help, saying they had another child on the way and asking if the woman could help raise the baby. To everyone's shock, the woman agreed again. Even the guests guests thought she had lost her mind for agreeing to raise someone else's child. But just as those words left her mouth, she ordered 2 fine jade pendants to be brought out. She gave them to her 2 sons. The greedy family, upon seeing the jade, became excited, thinking they must be very valuable. But the 2 sons didn't care about the jade. They only wanted to stay by the woman's side, but the woman didn't answer. She simply announced to everyone that she had one more grand gift prepared. She had helped her son's classmates find their birth parents. When the 2 sons heard the news, they were overjoyed and asked the woman where their parents were. To their shock, the woman pointed directly at the ex-husband and his mistress.